What up guys, it is Justice here and welcome back to Runescape. In this video I'm going to be talking you through a cost-effective way of training Invention. This is the Ganodermic method. So you can go to Ganodermics, they are a Slayer creature. The requirement is 95 Slayer, so you do need a fairly high Slayer level to kill these monsters, but if you have 95 Slayer you're ready to go. You want to be wearing Ganodermic top and bottom. The initial time you go here, I would recommend to buy the flakes from the G. You save a little bit of money, then make the top and legs yourself from scratch with just a bit of thread and needle. And also you need the base part. I think it's called it's like a web version of the top and bottom. Again, you can find that on the Grand Exchange. But once you've got the body and the legs, you then want to also augment those with an augmentor, and then you want to grab a tier 70 or 80 weapon. So I was using a chaotic staff when I was doing this because I have a few dungeoneering tokens to get rid of, and again I highly recommend anybody who's got a few million dungeoneering tokens, or even, you know, a couple 100k, whatever, you know, it's worth just to spend those on weapons whilst you're leveling up and just dismantle it completely, because they're just dungeoneering tokens, you know. And if you're going to be training DG anyway to 120 eventually, you're going to gather lots of tokens in the process of doing that. But anyway, another alternative, a very effective alternative, is the Staff of Light right now, which is going for about 2 mil on the Grand Exchange, or you can buy a crystal staff, for example. So you want to get those 3 different items, a weapon, body and legs, augment them, and then go to Ganodermic. So after being there for an hour, I tracked the experience which I managed to get, so the weapon experience and also the money that I gained from there for like an hour trip. The weapon experience that I managed to get was between 17 and 20k weapon experience per hour. I managed to make 5.8 million GP, so I got very close to 6,000 Ganodermic flakes, and they're going for 800 GP at the moment, maybe even more, I'm not quite sure, but they're going between 600 and 800 GP at the moment. So if you work that out in terms of the weapon experience, it requires 40k weapon experience to get your weapon to a maximum level of 10, so you're looking at about 2 hours at the Ganodermics to get, let's say, your Staff of Light to a weapon level of 10. And in the process, you're going to get about 6,000 flakes and lots of other things like gloves, boots, the polypore sticks if you want to make those into full polypore staffs later on. So you can easily make your own Ganodermic top and bottom again and just keep cycling through that process, augmenting the gear and then disassembling it, and in the meantime you're making profit too. So whatever happens to the economy, if the amount of experience which you gain from augmenting and then disassembling an item stays about the same, whatever happens to the actual economy in terms of prices of items, this is quite a safe bet because you're getting the flakes yourself from scratch. It averages out to around 630k Invention XP an hour or so, and you make about 6 mil GP an hour. I think that's pretty good. So you're going to make your money back for the cost of the Staff of Light or crystal staff, let's say, along with the flakes to craft your own Ganodermic top and legs to augment again, plus then a profit on top of that with the current prices. And even if the economy gets flipped on its head, this should still be a productive way to train Invention at a much lower cost, considering you are augmenting and leveling up tier 75 Ganodermic armor for Invention. You could also just stack up your polypore spore as well, and on a daily basis you can go around to the relevant stores in Gillinor and stock up on around 6,000 fire runes a day at a much cheaper price of 17 GP each compared to what they are currently on the Grand Exchange, which is 153 GP each. Again, just extending your profit from the Ganodermic trips and making it more cost efficient for you training Invention. So yes, it is slower Invention XP an hour than, let's say, grinding out Dark Beast with a Black Salamander, or going to Errot with a cannon, with with some melee weapons or something. You know, yes, it's going to be slower than that Invention XP per hour, but it's going to cost you a heck of a lot less. It's actually not going to cost you anything right now. You are going to make a small profit out of doing this method. So that's the Ganodermic method completed, and I've discussed that. I'm going to move on to God Wars Dungeon now. Lots of people are doing God Wars Dungeon. I decided to go and check out Krill, so Zamorak, also known as Zamorak, and I wanted to track how much XP, weapon XP I would get within a full hour, or how long it would take me to get to a level 10 weapon here. So again, I took a chaotic staff here. It takes about an hour and a half with a chaotic staff, so a level tier 80 weapon, to get from level 0 to 10. So you're looking at slightly longer with a tier 70, and again, the kills are going to be a bit slower because of that. Along with that, what was discussed while I was streaming this was about the metamorphosis, the meta buff. Basically, meta has been rebuffed. I had no idea about this because no one's really doing high level PVM right now. So I really did not consider anything to do with meta and, you know, all of that stuff really. I've completely completely out of the loop with all of that right now. But anyway, ended up discussing about meta due to Hippie jumping in on the stream and discussing it via the Twitch chat. And essentially, meta has been buffed again, but it now only lasts for, I think, 15 seconds or something. And just to sum it up, essentially, around meta and when to use it, meta's really good to use now when you're kiting a boss or walking it for the bleeds, because actually bleeds now increase in damage whilst you're in a meta. So it does boost the damage of bleeds now. So that's like your Corruption Blast and your Corruption Shot. But everywhere else, you probably still want to use the Sunshine ability. I then moved on to Bandos because I've been doing a bit of that today, and I decided to buy myself a Celtic Maul. Again, I've got some Dungeoneering tokens spare. I now have literally run out though, didn't have that many, but I bought myself a Celtic Maul, mostly due to the nostalgia of it. It just felt really nice to wear one again and augment it and then just have a look at the Celtic Maul again, really, and use it. It took me back to the days of pre-OC anyway. So I decided to buy a Celtic Maul, go and check it out at Bandos. People would say get a spear and stuff like that, but I wanted the Maul. So I went to Bandos with this. Again, another alternative you want to be using right now at Bandos is the Crystal Halberd. But I also had some Bandos armor laying around in the bank, so I decided to augment that. Again, another alternative is your Barrows armor sets, which you can buy from the G. Barrows, God, no Barrows right now. I'm not even going to get into that, but the money making there is ridiculous, I think, at the moment, considering how easy it is. But anyway, it took me about an hour and 40 minutes to level up my Celtic Maul here from level 0 to 10. I got a few drops in the process, only got a Bandos helmet in the process and a effigy, but again, you could get luckier and get the tassets or the chest plate, and again, you're making a bit of money back. But all in all, again, Bandos is pretty damn decent for leveling up your weapons. I'm not sure how this is going to be like on Monday, but moving on to that, actually, the end of the day, if you want to save as much money as possible and don't mind gradually training Invention with Slayer or God Wars Dungeon, aka mid-level PVM or mid-level PvE, so essentially not power training it, then you can just buy supplies for Augmentors and Divine Charges and also make or buy equipment siphons and then just siphon your best weapons and armor when they reach level 12, and this will give the same XP as level 10, but it just takes, twice as long. This will take close to twice as long anyway to level Invention when comparing to breaking down tier 70 or 80 weapons and armor, let's say. But you'll save a lot of money. But I would advise, by the way, to wait in making or buying siphons until tomorrow, until Monday, as I've heard they will be cheaper to make tomorrow. I've heard that anyway, so just wait just in case that's true, but I'm pretty certain that has been confirmed by Mod Maltaire on Twitter. Anyways, guys, that is the end of today's video. Again, some progress made with Invention. You'll see my level on the screen somewhere, and yeah, I'm making some progress. Managed to get another 3.5 million Invention XP today, which was, I'm happy about that. I'm getting there, guys, getting there. Next week I'll be pretty busy with work, but I will be pumping out the content still like usual. And tomorrow, there will be more Invention changes. Pretty anxious about it, but I'll be looking at that tomorrow night, and a video on those changes will be out most likely on Tuesday. Have a great start to the week, and I'll see you guys in the next one.